Good morning, friends. So, as you can see, I'm still recovering from my dental procedure, but I thought it would be okay to go live this morning and share that with you all, family. So, today, here we are. Here's our book, 40 Words for 40 Days Pauses for Lent by Trevor Hudson, sharing with you this beautiful journey of what these words meant to first century Christians, but also Christians in the 21st century. The daily word today is wept. And it is in fact the shortest verse in the Bible from John 11:35. Jesus wept. And I'm going to read a little bit this morning from our reflection. Each one of us sits next to a pool of our own tears. Our pools are all different. Some have been caused by what has been done to us, some are the results of our own doing. These pools remind us of the grief and losses that we have suffered throughout our lives. Jesus grants us the gifts of his own tears and suffers with us. Those who travel the journey of Lent in Jesus' intimate company discover that his tears represent the empathy of God. Let's discover our own pools of tears. These pools may be caused by death of loved ones, the pain of divorce, the abuse of the child, unmet longing of an intimate partner, the loss of a job, or rejection of a close friend. Whatever the cause, this pool of tears is where Christ wants to meet us during the season of Lent. So I want to talk about tears a little bit today. And I think this season of Lent is different than many because of um, the last year. We talked about it, and I don't know that we celebrated a year of COVID-19, but we memorialized it a little bit yesterday during our service. It's been a year, right, folks? And I think that this last year for many of us has been one of tears, one of longing, one of um, anticipation or anticipatory grief, right? Um, an immense physical and emotional pain. And um, while the author talks about Jesus's empathy and God's empathy, that I think is real. But if we talk about one who suffered, if we really think that Jesus was an individual who lived and died um, a physical life, he suffered a physical death as well. So Jesus was the one who suffered with folks and suffered for folks, right? So yes, Jesus had empathy and an empathic presence, but he also really suffered a physical death. So if we want to imagine one who understands, Jesus is one of those, right? So I think that when we are on this Lenten reflection, this Lenten journey, um, Jesus is a pretty good companion to be on that journey with us and to know that he was one who walked this journey of suffering like none other. And there are other folks like Gandhi and Mother Teresa and other folks who walked this journey of a suffering life. And you know, Cone talks about this. James Cone talks about um, in the cross of the lynching tree, the one who suffered. And I I imagine that um, the one who liberates those who suffered, who calls for the liberation of those who suffer most. And if we look at those who are suffering most in the midst of COVID-19, in the midst of, what is happening in our nation and in our world, it's certain individuals who are more on the margins than others. And I know that many of us are experiencing, I have a friend who has had a very long journey with this COVID-19 experience, and she's going home today. And I am so celebrating with Rebecca, but she has a very, very long journey ahead of her. And and even the recovery from this, there is suffering. So even in the liberation, there is suffering. So the weeping and the tears are liberating as well. So um, spend some time today with what that looks like, what your tears are liberating you from, what your tears, not just in this time, but obviously we have a long trajectory of lives that existed before COVID 19. So listen to what God has to say about what your tears mean and what that journey is about. And if you can't think about what your tears are bringing, or if you have any tears, what is that saying? What are you shielding yourself from if you are un, unable to be in that vulnerable space with God? So, friends, we have a new word tomorrow. I don't know if I'll be posting a video or not. But we have a new word on day 24 tomorrow. We are more than halfway through our 40 days of this journey and heading towards Easter. Remember that Palm Sunday we will be at the church for a broadcast church that will be on our radios, but still doing our Zoom service as well. So, looking forward to all the new things that we are doing at Hyattstown. Thanks so much. Bye, y'all.